Hey, what's up, Instagram? I'm going to run this back. You're going to enjoy a rebroadcast as I go to YouTube and Twitter. Hey, what's up, Instagram? Listen, I'm going to go live again on the same show. It's going to be a rebroadcast for those of you who are tuning in for the first time. You're going to see Born to Win. I'm rebroadcasting for Twitter and Instagram. So welcome, those of you who are tuning in from Instagram, tuning in from Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Stand by 3 minutes. We're going live. Rebroadcast of the show Born to Win for Twitter and YouTube. And for those of you who are a part of Instagram, I'm just allowing you guys to see it again. If you're just seeing it for the first time, we're going live. Stand by. Welcome to the Wealth Development Club. This is the rebroadcast for Twitter and YouTube and Instagram. You're more than welcome to stick around and check out Born to Win. This is Wednesday. Every Wednesday we'll be going live. Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, iTunes, the Woodage Network. You're in the Wealth Development Club. Stand by. We're going live for a rebroadcast for Twitter and Instagram, Twitter and YouTube. Stand by. All right, we're going live in about 2 minutes, 2 minutes and 20 seconds. We are going live, YouTube and Twitter feed. And we're inviting the Instagram crew to stay with us and check us out. This is the Wealth Development Club. I'm going to challenge your wealth. I'm going to stretch your wealth, challenge your thinking, pushing you into the deep. Today we're going to talk about being born to win. Welcome. You are live right now in the Wealth Development Club. This is Johnny Wimbrey. I'm your host. We're going live 1 minute and 20 seconds here on YouTube and Twitter. Spread the word. Tag your team. If you want to win big with somebody, you want to create a win big team, a win big crew, get them to this message. We're going live in 1 minute. What's up, Twitter and Periscope, as well as YouTube? We are going live on a rebroadcast of today's show an hour ago. Stand by. Born to Win. Share and tag this with everybody you know. We're going live in 30 seconds. 30 seconds from now, we're going live. Welcome to the Wealth Development Club. All right, welcome to the Wealth Development Club. This is Johnny Wimbrey. We're going live in 10 seconds. Tag everybody you know. Tag them into this post. We are going live. Hi, this is Johnny Wimbrey, and I want to invite you to step into the Wealth Development Club with me. I'm committed to awakening your inner wealth and increasing your financial wealth at the exact same time. So stay focused and join me in the Wealth Development Club with your host, Johnny Wimbrey. Hey, welcome back to the Wealth Development Club. This is Johnny Wimbrey. Happy Wednesday. Every Wednesday, the Wealth Development Club, we're going to be bringing you new shows and new information. You can always tune in live here on Facebook like you're doing right now, as well as Instagram and Twitter. Also on the Wittich Network. If you ever want to go back and watch one of our previous shows, go to the Wittich Network. Here, you'll see it tagged right above, but make sure you tune in every Wednesday, Wealth Development Club. I'm your host, Johnny Wimbrey, and it's an honor and a pleasure that you have allowed me to share information and impartation in your life to bring out that inner wealth giant that's within you. Shout outs to my producers who are in the room with me right now in 126. You know them on social media. They are the Wimbrey sisters, Hannah Wimbrey, Psalms Wimbrey. They're producing the show today. Thank you so much. I love my girls, and they're very close to the information that I teach, and that's why I want them in this situation right now. So here we are, the Wealth Development Club. Give me shout outs from all over the world. Who are you? Where are you chiming in from? Drop your comments, leave live information. We're going to be commenting during the show here live on Facebook. But do me a favor. I want to know where you're from. Do the shout out. Let my girls know where you are hitting them up from. So doesn't matter where you are in the world. If you're going to comment, just say, hey, from South Africa. Hey, from Southern California, whatever it is. I love seeing those things, and I know that the listeners and the watchers and the viewers like observing that information as well. So we got all that stuff out of the way to get right into the subject of today. Remember, you're in the Wealth Development Room. We're going to talk about the things that are awakening and complementing and building that inner wealth giant that's within you. And today, I'm going to talk about something that's incredibly foundational to my success. Not just foundational to my success, it has been a foundation to successful people around the planet. But I'm going to make it super, super simple for you. I want you to go back with me, and I want you to go back with you. So where's Johnny going with this? I want to have a conversation with you about you. Now, in the midst of us having this conversation about ourselves, to ourselves, I'm going to tell you a quick story about my personal life and how I've applied different information in my life to achieve the level of success that I've achieved thus far. But before I tell you the story, let me give you the subject. Here's the bottom line. You were born to win, and so was I. That's the bottom line. People ask me, Johnny, if you can go back and you could talk to the younger Johnny, what would you tell him? And without question, what I would tell the younger Johnny, the conversation that Johnny would have with Johnny would be as simple as this. Believe sooner. Believe sooner. What do I mean by that? If I were able to talk to the younger Johnny, the Johnny Wimbrey whose earliest memory of life was living, in a battered women's shelter. If I talk about my book, From the Hood to Doing Good. The younger Johnny that was, in the midst of adversity at a very young age in life. The younger Johnny that had every reason to give up. The younger Johnny who would ultimately make incredibly bad decisions in life. The younger Johnny that as a teenager, he would have a felony arrest. The younger Johnny that would start selling drugs and crack cocaine on the streets when he was 14 and 15 years old. The younger Johnny who failed the second grade because he was moving from shelter to shelter until he found stability in Fort Worth, Texas with his father. The younger Johnny, what would I tell that younger Johnny? I would pull younger Johnny aside and I would say, listen, bruh, I know what you've been through. And I know that you've started to count yourself out on this thing called life. And I know that the odds are against you. But here's what I want you to know right now. You're going to get there. You're going to be successful one day. But just do me one favor. I don't want to change anything that we go through. I just want to change your belief in you. I just want it to become sooner. I want you to subscribe to the possibility that you were born to win this game called life, but I want your belief to come a lot sooner. It's the only thing that I would change. And I'm telling you, your belief in you, or your in belief, if that's a word, your unbelief in you, it will make you or it will cost you millions. Mark Twain said this. He said, the two most important days of your life, the day that you're born and the day you realize why you were born. Before I talk about your why, your reason, your WHY, your reason for being on this planet, I want to take you back to you. You before you knew you. And I got my daughters in the studio with me right now, so this subject may be a little bit different in terms of me talking about this information like I normally would, but I'm going to talk to them. I think you guys can handle it. They're 13 and 15 years old. And if I want it earlier for me, I would be a hypocrite if I didn't want it earlier for them. So I'm going to talk about some information, and I'm going to be able to back my information up scientifically, religiously or spiritually, theology, whatever it is, and as well as just, a big bundle of common sense. Because what I want to do right now is I want to awaken that inner giant that's within you. I want to awaken the winner that's within. So in order for us to do that, I want to go back and have a conversation about you before you even knew you, where you can't even argue. Because what most people do in life is what we all do, really, is we argue for our limitations. I remember I was having a conversation with Les Brown one day, and he said, what are your plans with your book? This is about 14 years ago. I was starting to write this book, and he did the foreword of the book. He said, but what are your plans with the book? What is your vision with the book? If you had, a magic wand, what do you want this to do? Where do you want your voice to reach? How far do you want your voice to reach? And I remember thinking to myself things like, at that time in my life, I was a regional vice president for an insurance firm. I sold health and life insurance, and I was training other agents doing the exact same thing. And in my mind, I had convinced myself that I was qualified to be able to speak and train to individuals under the professional umbrella. But even though I convinced myself that not only just my teachings, but my history and my past in terms of, creating success stories, even up to that point in my life, I remember having this limitation. And I would say to Les, my answer would be something like this. Well, Les, I really would love, boardrooms to get a hold of this information. I really would love, sales development teams to get a hold of this information. And in the midst of me being the one who said, I would really I had a level of hope that was kind of like, that's what I expected. But even in the midst of my hope, I would say things like, but I understand if it only, is available in schools. He said, well, why would you say that? It's like, Johnny, you're qualified. You're a young $1 million success story. Why would you say but after saying that? I'm like, well, I get it. I totally understand. People are going to find out one day that I have a felony arrest. People are going to find out one day that, I lived in battered women's shelters, and people are going to find out one day that I sold drugs as a teenager. They're going to find out. So if my books were just available in schools and prisons, I would be cool with that. Although I'm qualified to speak in corporations. I am qualified to speak in sales development trainings. I'm qualified to do seminars all over the world, but because of my past, see, what I was doing was I was borrowing my past to allow it to dictate my future. And I remember Les Brown he got frustrated. He said, listen, Johnny, if you want to argue for your limitations, I'm going to let you keep them. And that was a very, very strong moment for me. Didn't really hurt my feelings, but it really did wake up something inside me, because I noticed that I was putting more energy into apologizing for my failures than I was to accepting the fact that where I come from doesn't have to dictate where I'm going, and my information is available to all. My whole point of sharing everything that I just shared with you is this. I disqualify myself. In the midst of getting excited about the conversation that I was having, the bottom line is I still was disqualifying myself because I would make a declaration, and immediately after the declaration, I would say the word but. I want my book. I want my message. I want to be able to speak and empower the masses to become great. But if it's just in schools, I'll understand. And he said, Johnny, if you argue for your limitations, I'm going to let you keep them. Which goes back to the original subject. Why would I argue for my limitations? It's the same reason you would argue for your limitations. And I want you to answer these questions. I want you chatting below. I want to know what you are feeling right now. Chat with me. My daughters are live right now. They're going to be interacting. Just stay with me, communicate with me, and stay with me on this. Why do people argue for the limitations? Let's make it even more personal. Why do you argue for your limitations? The truth is, it's because you know you. They say true character is who you are when nobody else is around. See, you know that person. I know Johnny. I know Johnny. Remember, I always say I surround myself around the thinking that outthinks me. The truth is because I know me. I need a higher level of thinking to submit myself to in order for me to continue to increase my wealth. So the only reason that you would, make excuses for the possibilities of your future wealth, of why it won't happen, is because the truth is you know you. And what do I mean by that? You know the story. See, Johnny Wimbrey knows the story. I know the story that I put in the book. I know the story that I didn't put in the book. So I know me. True character is who you are when no one else is around. So since you know you, and since I know me, let's talk to the beginning us. The one that was born to win. Now go with me on this. I can prove that you were born to win without exaggeration. And what I'm about to share with you right now, this is not fluff for me. Now you got to understand, with all the hell that I've been through in my life, I have to have these conversations with me. Because in the exact same moment that I'm propelling forward and excited about life, it's Johnny's voice that's saying, who do you think you are? What makes you think you deserve this? So it's my voice that has the power to propel me, but it's also my voice that has the power to pull me back. And what I'm saying is the conversations that I have to have with myself, it gets kind of personal. It can get kind of, not violent, but it can get pretty aggressive at times too. Because in one moment I'm saying, Johnny, you could do it. And the other moment I'm saying, who do you think you are? Who do you think you are to have the audacity to think that people want to hear your voice if they really know you? And that's me talking to me. So the bottom line is I'm the only person that's qualified to hold me back. And at the same time, I'm also the only person qualified to push me forward because it's my voice. So I want you to talk to you right now. Remember you before you knew you? Me either, but just go with me. You won your first race in life. You were born to win because you won your first race in life. I was going to talk to my daughters right now. I would say, girls, you're born to win because you won your first race in life. And I can prove it with science. I can prove it with theology, which means the study of God. And I can, I could prove it with just common sense, really. And the bottom line is, there's only one way into the world. And I guess we're going to have our daddy-daughter moment right now in front of tens of thousands of people around the world. But there's only one way into the world. And that only one way into this world, it's the process of life. It's how babies are made. So hundreds of millions of sperm cells, hundreds of millions of sperm cells start a race called life. But here's the crazy thing is there's only one that makes it to the finish line. Now go with me on this. I know that you are born to win because you're listening to my voice right now. I know that I was born to win because you can see me right now. I won my first race in life. And so did you. He's like, oh, Johnny, man, I wish life was that simple. Listen to me. It's the very foundation of my success. When Johnny talks to Johnny, when every negative voice is trying to hold Johnny back, Johnny looks in the mirror and Johnny says, Johnny, listen, I know you've been through hell. I know they laughed at you. I know you failed the second grade. I know your father was an abusive alcoholic. I know you were homeless. I know that your first memory in life was living in a battered women's shelter. But you were born to win. This is how Johnny has to talk to Johnny. Without this conversation, you would not be in the Wealth Development Club with me right now because I disqualified myself. I disqualified myself based on my circumstances. But nothing can deny the fact that I won my first race in life. Now go with me. I didn't just win my first race in life. It was total victory. 0 survivors. I won my first race in life and everything after me died. I was born to win. It sounds crazy, doesn't it? Being wealthy is crazy. Being successful is crazy. Desiring success, having a hunger for wealth, that's crazy because it goes against what society wants us to believe that's possible for us. So I got to go back to the original conversation. I got to go back to the original game of life. I got to go back to prove to myself that I was born to win because I won my first race in life. And not only did I win my first race in life, 0 survivors came after me. So you were born to win. Well, Johnny, that's just this thing called life. I know. I had that argument with myself too. So I had to take it to a whole nother level of thinking that worked on me for a new season. There was a season when that worked on me. I won my first race, but then I had to take it to another season. And here's what I'm telling you. This thing called wealth, this destination of wealth, it's not true. There's no destination. It's a journey and it's a process. So even my thinking has to continually evolve in life for my wealth and my success to continually evolve. So I had to take it to a whole nother level. And I don't know about you. I hope that you are, but I don't know. But for me, for Johnny, I'm a believer. I believe in God. I believe in one God, and I believe that God created the heavens and earth. My personal belief. I believe that God has all power. It means he's omnipotent. He has all power. He's omniscient. He has all knowledge. He's omnipresent. He's everywhere at the exact same time. I believe that in my heart. So let's take this thing called born to win to another level. If he truly has all power, couldn't he have sent one sperm cell? Why would something that has all power, our creator who has all power, why would he send hundreds of millions when he just could have sent one? He does have all power, right? So this is Johnny talking to Johnny right now. This is an up and close conversation with Johnny. He could have just sent one. Why did he send hundreds of millions? Well, Johnny, could it be that one day he would figure out, or one day he knew that we would figure it out with science and new inventions, technology? One day we actually would figure out that there are hundreds of millions of sperm cells. I know my girls are probably uncomfortable right now having this conversation, but get back to the winning mindset of it. He could have sent one, but he sent hundreds of millions, and he has all power. Could it be that he would know one day we would figure it out with science, with new technology and inventions? What if he wanted us to know one day that you won your greatest and most difficult race in life? You won your first race, the most difficult race you'll ever be in. Trust me, you have never gone up against hundreds of millions of other yous that wanted you to die. I've never been in a battle like that. I've been through hell on earth, but I've never experienced hundreds of millions of people like me wishing I would die so one could make it and not me. So this first race in life I won. My creator could have sent one and just made it a fixed race, but he sent hundreds of millions. Could it be that he wanted me to know that I don't care what you go through in life, Johnny, you'll never be able to deny the fact. You can never deny the fact that you were born to win, because it was you who beat hundreds of millions. And little bitty old you made it to the other side. So you mean to tell me the hardest race you've ever had in your life, you won. You came in first place. There were 0 survivors. And you're going to give up because of this? This? If I were to talk to my daughters right now, I would tell them, listen, you're going to go through the good, the bad, and the ugly. There will be obstacles that come your way. You will struggle. You will want to give up. You will want to throw in the towel. But if you remember your first race, your first true race in life, if you can ever have a conversation with yourself at that moment and slow down, I promise you, you'll realize, just like I did, that my first race was harder than this, and I won. I won my first race before I knew my name. Before I even knew if I was a male or a female, I was already a winner. 2 most important days of your life. The day you're born, the hardest race in your life led up to that day. And if you didn't win that race, you would never be here. So the 2 most important days of your life, the day that you're born and the day you realize why you were born. Now here's your why, your WHY. Just like I have a DNA or I have a fingerprint, just like my blood is matched back to me, your position and purpose on earth has a DNA. It has a footprint. It has a fingerprint. Your life, your existence for being here has a DNA to it. There's something that you're designed to bring to this world that nobody else is designed to. There's something that you are supposed to make. You're supposed to make a deposit on this planet that nobody else can make. There are voices that I can reach that you will never reach. There are voices or ears that you'll reach that I'm not qualified to reach. And all I'm saying is this: if you were born to win and you won your first race, what has been your deposit? See, that's your purpose and that's your why. Now here's the story that here's a story that I told you that I was gonna share. I was in 4th grade. I was only back in Fort Worth, Texas for 2 years at this point, where I would ultimately be raised as a young man, then an adult in Fort Worth, Texas. I was in 4th grade in Miss Cook's classroom at Eastland Elementary School in Eastwood, Fort Worth, Texas. Upstairs, last classroom, all the way down the hall to the left. I would finish my test early, and Miss Cook come to me and said, "You're the first one finished, as usual. Let me give you some headphones or earphones to put on, the old school." So she set me on the floor, on a wooden floor. She set me down on the floor and she put earphones on me that cover my entire ears. And the reason she did this is so I wouldn't start talking. She knows me. I finished early. Everybody else is still working. I'm going to distract someone. So she puts me on the floor, puts these earphones on, and here's the voice that I hear. I hear the record start playing, and then I heard this: "I have a dream one day." That voice activated something inside me. There's no question. At that moment, I knew why I was born. I can't explain it. But something happened inside me that I could never deny even decades later. Martin Luther King's voice for the first time in my ear in Miss Cook's classroom, Easton Elementary in Fort Worth, Texas. Upstairs, last classroom, all the way down to the left, sitting on a wooden floor. Those words will be heard in my ears for the first time. I have a dream one day. And most of us know the speech. Something happened inside me. So not only were you born to win, not only did you win your first race, and not only were you more than a conqueror in that race, there were 0 survivors. Now, I want you to understand that your purpose on this planet is attached to your DNA and the deposit that you will leave on this planet. Something happened in me that day. So I got good news and I got bad news, even for my daughters. And it's going to be hard for me to say to them, but I'll fix it. Good news is we're all pregnant. Bad news is if you ever go there, then we're going to have some problems. However, but we're all pregnant. Everybody listening to me right now, we're pregnant. And what I mean by that is we're pregnant with something. God put something inside us that was only designed for us to deposit into this world. And we're all pregnant. We're all pregnant with a vision, an idea, an invention. We're all pregnant with something in life that we're supposed to leave on this planet. I don't care if it's a play, if it's a book. I don't care if it's an idea, an invention, whatever it is. There's something in you that only you can leave to this planet. And the only reason that you haven't pushed it out yet, you haven't pushed that baby out yet, is because you lost your belief. The belief that it was possible for little old you to make this happen. The only reason that we wouldn't push the baby out is because we know us. And we consult our past to determine our future. We know where we're from. We know who our parents were. Like, nobody in my family comes from this world. Nobody in my family has been massively successful in this area. So who do I think I am to be successful in this area? And I'm telling you, just like when little Johnny was in 4th grade sitting on that floor with earphones on, that was the day I became pregnant with something that I had to leave on this planet. It would take decades, well over 2 decades later, for me to accept the fact that it was possible for me to push this baby out. Some of you are listening and you're watching me right now in the Wealth Development Club, and you're saying, Johnny, I hear you, bruh. I hear you, but I'm too old now. I knew what that thing, I knew what I had a passion to do, but I'm just too old. And I'm telling you, you were born to win. You shouldn't have made it through your first race in life, but you did, and you beat odds that you will never see again in your life. You'll never see those odds again. And you were in first place and you won with 0 survivors. So I'm telling you, it's never too late. It's never too late because you were born to win. Some of you are holding on to this baby so tight. And the baby's saying, please push me out. I won't let you down. If you just give me a chance. Give me a chance to show the world that I'm good. Give me a chance to show the world that it works. And you're holding the baby and you're saying, well, what if it doesn't? What if it doesn't work? And the baby is saying, just give me a shot. Give me a shot. I won't let you down. I'm not saying that this race won't be hard. I'm not saying that we won't drop the ball. I'm not saying that people won't laugh at us. I'm not saying that they won't say it's not possible. But I am saying this. If you give me a shot. Remember Eminem's song? Takes one shot to rock. Do not miss your opportunity. Wayne Gretzky says 100% of every shot never taken never goes in. Someone else said every big shot was a small shot that just kept shooting. And the baby's inside there right now saying, give me a shot. Give me a shot. And I am telling you, not only were you born to win, you were born to take shots. You were born to take shots. And I'm giving you permission to start shooting again. Because many of us, we stop shooting and we forget. When I was in 4th grade, I forgot about that message. I forgot about my connection with Martin Luther King. I forgot. I just always remember admiring him above anybody else I've ever seen walk the face of the planet Earth other than Jesus Christ. And I remember the admiration that I had for his love and his compassion for people, regardless of where they come from, regardless of what race or religion. It was just mankind, his passion and his love for mankind. And I remember connecting to that, and my life has never been the same since. But it doesn't mean I didn't deny it for years. Almost 2 decades, I denied it. Because I would say, who am I? Who am I to think that one day my voice would go around the world? Who am I? And I'm telling you, I would argue for my limitations a lot. And even to this day, I struggle with not arguing for my limitations until I look into the mirror and I remind myself, Johnny, you were born to win. I tell my daughters, you're born to win. You're born to win. And the only thing that can stop you in life is your belief system. And just like I'm telling them, I'm going to tell you, your belief system is the most important thing, because it is your belief that puts you back in the game. It is your belief. And I had to convince myself, I know it sounds silly, but I had to convince myself that I was born to win. I had to play that game with myself. Because without that belief, without that initial belief in who I was or who I am, before I was born into the circumstances of poverty, before I was born into the circumstances of abuse, before I was born into the circumstances of living in the projects, before I was born into the circumstances of alcoholism, before I was born into any of those circumstances, I was already a winner. I had already proven myself victorious. And I'm telling you now, take your victory back. Don't be a victim. Be a victor. Take your victory and go win. Why? Because you were born to. You can't deny it. You wouldn't be able to hear me right now. You wouldn't be able to watch me right now. So accept the fact you were born to win. I give you permission to get back in the game, to hit that reset button on life. And start now. Not start all over. We can't do that. But you can start again right now. Wayne Gretzky says, 100% of every shot never taken never goes in. The only reason that nothing is working in your favor is because you're not shooting. If you shoot long enough, trust me, you'll make it to the finish line. And who knows? Maybe your victory will be record-breaking. Maybe there won't be any survivors behind you because you got back in this game, in this race called life. You're born to win. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Wealth Development Club. I'm Johnny Wimbrey. Every Wednesday, join me right here in the Wealth Development Club. If this message has been inspirational in any way in your life, do me a favor and share it. Share it on your page. Share it with your friends. Tag anybody in your crew in the comments below that you want to see this message. I promise you, if you create a circle of wealth development mindset individuals who are part of your crew and you're listening to this information on a weekly basis, I promise you, not only will you start experiencing the mindset
that it takes to become wealthy, you'll have other people who are in your circle experiencing at the exact same time, and that creates massive synergy. So invite people into the Wealth Development Club to listen with you. I'm your host, Johnny Wimbrey. Every Wednesday, the Wealth Development Club will be dropping new information your way on all social media platforms at Wimbrey. God bless you guys. We'll see you next week. Peace. Hi, this is Johnny Wimbrey, and I want to invite you to step into the Wealth Development Club with me. I'm committed to awakening your inner wealth and increasing your financial wealth at the exact same time. So stay focused and join me in the Wealth Development Club with your host, Johnny Wimbrey.